It started with the sound of a fork clinking against a dinner plate, so casual, so ordinary, that it almost disguised the nuclear bomb she dropped right after. "I'm getting my tubes untied," Lisa said, her tone flat, her eyes fixed on her mashed potatoes. For a second, I didn't process it. Then my fork slipped from my hand, clattering against the table. "What?" She looked up, unbothered. "You heard me. I've been thinking about it for a while. I want kids again." I blinked. "Lisa, we already have 2. And you said after Ella was born that you were done. That's why you had the procedure." "I know," she said, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear, her voice maddeningly calm. "But things change." "Things change," I repeated, trying to find her eyes. "What things?" That's when she smiled, not a warm smile, but the kind people wear when they're rehearsing lines. "Daniel reached out," she said. My pulse thudded. "Daniel? As in, your ex-husband Daniel?" "Yeah." She said it like she was talking about a neighbor. "He and I have been catching up. He never had kids after we split. He says he regrets how things ended. That maybe we were too young, too impulsive." The words didn't feel real. They floated between us, heavy and sharp, like glass dust. "Lisa," I said slowly, "what does that have to do with you getting your tubes untied?" Her gaze flicked to the window. "He wants kids now. And I realized. I still want that too. I miss being a mom." I stared at her, breath frozen. "You're talking about having his children." She didn't answer immediately. That pause said everything. "Lisa," I whispered, "are you sleeping with him?" She sighed, like she'd been waiting for that question, maybe even rehearsing this whole conversation in her head. "I didn't mean for it to happen, Mark. We started talking, and it just went from there." There it was, the confession that sliced through 15 years of marriage. A cold numbness crept over me, chasing the heat of anger rising in my chest. "You've been cheating on me," I said. "I didn't cheat," she snapped defensively. "It just happened once. We reconnected emotionally first." "Oh, that makes it better." I cut her off, laughing bitterly. "So, what now? You're going to undo your surgery and start a family with him while you're still married to me?" Her lips trembled, but her voice stayed calm. "I thought maybe you'd understand. We're different now, Mark. You've been distant for months. You don't even look at me the same way anymore." That lie hit harder than the truth. I wanted to scream, to throw the table across the room, to make her feel something. But I just sat there, numb. The woman across from me, the one I'd built a life with, the one I'd trusted with every vulnerable part of me, was gone. She'd already crossed the bridge back to her past, and she was burning hours behind her. The next few days were a blur of silence and shadows. Lisa moved through the house like a ghost. No apologies, no explanations. Just avoidance. I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her whispering to him, laughing the way she hadn't laughed with me in months. I started noticing small things I'd ignored before, the hidden second phone she kept in her purse. The perfume that wasn't the one I'd bought her. The gym trips that always lasted 2 hours too long. And then I found the text. Her real phone buzzed while she was in the shower. A message preview flashed across the screen. "Daniel, I talked to the doctor. He says it's possible, but we'll need to start soon." My heart nearly stopped. I unlocked the phone, she never changed the passcode, and opened the thread. There were weeks of messages. Photos. Voice notes. Plans. They'd been meeting at a hotel halfway between our city and his. She'd even booked the clinic consultation under her maiden name. It wasn't a fling. It was a blueprint for a new life. Without me. That night, I confronted her again. She came out of the shower, towel wrapped around her hair, humming softly. I was sitting on the edge of the bed with her phone in my hand. Her humming stopped. "I read the messages," I said. For a moment, her eyes darted between the phone and my face. Then she sighed, sat down beside me, and whispered, "I was going to tell you." "When?" I asked. "After you got pregnant with his child." Tears filled her eyes, but I couldn't tell if they were guilt or fear. "Mark, I didn't plan this. I loved you. I still do, but Daniel and I had something before you. It never really went away. I shook my head slowly. You love him enough to destroy us. I'm not destroying anything, she whispered. We've been broken for a long time. You just didn't want to admit it. I stood up, feeling something inside me snap. You're right. We're broken. But I'm not the one who shattered us. She looked small, fragile, almost childlike, but I couldn't feel pity anymore. I packed a bag that night, not saying another word. She didn't stop me. She just watched, eyes red and hollow, as I walked out. Days later, my lawyer called to confirm she'd filed for divorce first. Her petition cited emotional incompatibility. What she didn't know was that I'd already sent the screenshots of her messages and hotel receipts to her attorney. I didn't do it for revenge. I did it to make sure she faced the truth she tried so hard to bury. The house we'd shared was sold. I moved into a small apartment across town. Sometimes I still wake up thinking I hear her voice, soft and distant, like she's whispering through the walls. A few months later, a mutual friend told me Lisa had gone through with the surgery. Daniel was at the clinic with her. They were trying now. I felt nothing at first. Just silence. Then, slowly, a grim sort of acceptance settled in. Maybe this was who she was all along, a woman who needed to chase something that always stayed just out of reach. But late at night, when I catch my reflection in the window, I think about the dinner table, about the sound of the fork hitting the plate, and how a single, ordinary moment can break a life clean in half.